All right, welcome everyone to week one of the NFL season, the 2017 NFL season. As Mclovein likes to say, nothing better than this time of the year.
Yeah, the fall, the fires, the leaves changing, football, college football, NFL football. I always look forward to September. And especially in the football, everyone knows how much I love football, and it's great to finally have the preseason be over, and now we can forge ahead. I miss doing the show, and I'm glad we're back doing it with our new little setup here. Hopefully, everyone likes it,
and hopefully it comes out the way it needs to come out, because that'd be awful. So here's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
A lot has transpired over the off season and into the preseason. What I'll do here, we'll go right on into the news, and then we'll. I don't know why it's not letting me. Here we go. No. Talk about technical difficulties here. I mean, I can't find. Unless it's... No. Anyway, let's just do this. So Martellus Bennett, Michael Bennett, on Seattle here. Cops drew guns on me for, quote, being a black man in the wrong place at the wrong time. Seattle Seahawks star defensive end Michael Bennett has accused police officers of pointing guns at him and using excessive force during an incident in Las Vegas last month. He posted a statement on his Twitter account Wednesday saying that he felt, quote, terrified and, quote, helpless, and announced that he is considering filing a civil rights lawsuit. According to Bennett, the incident occurred in the early morning hours on August 27th after the Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor fight in Las Vegas, when police apprehended him after hearing what sounded like gunshots in a crowded area. Bennett said officers pointed guns at him for, quote, doing nothing more than simply being a black man in the wrong place at the wrong time, and ordered him to lie down on the ground. Bennett wrote that one officer with his gun drawn warned him that he would blow my bleep head off. And I'm not saying bleep because we can't swear on the show. We can swear all we want on this show. It doesn't say it in the article. If he moved, another officer jammed his knee into Bennett's back and handcuffed him, according to Bennett. The officer's excessive use of force was unbearable, Bennett wrote. I felt helpless as I lay there on the ground, handcuffed, facing the real-life threat of being killed. All I could think of was, I'm going to die for no other reason than I'm black and my skin color is somehow a threat. Bennett said he was placed in a police car before officers confirmed his identity, realized he was not a suspect, and released him without any legitimate justification for the officer's abusive conduct. They apparently realized I was not a thug, common criminal, or ordinary black man, but Michael Bennett, a famous professional football player, he wrote. Bennett described the incident as traumatic during a brief appearance Wednesday at the Seahawks facility. It's a traumatic experience for me and my family, and it sucks that the country that we live in now, sometimes you get profiled for the color of your skin, Bennett said. It's a tough situation for me. Do I think every police officer is bad? No, I don't believe that. Do I believe there are some people out there that judge people by the color of their skin? I do believe that. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Under Sheriff Kevin McMahill said Wednesday that his department has launched an internal investigation into the events surrounding the detaining of Bennett. Of course, he has to say that. McMahill said he had found no evidence that race played any role in this incident and noted that both of the officers who dealt with Bennett were Hispanic. He said that Bennett was detained for 10 minutes. McMahill said there are 126 pieces of video for the police to look at, including body cam images, but the officer who handcuffed Bennett did not have his body cam on. McMahill described the events of that night around Dre's nightclub after they got a call saying, or it could be Dre's nightclub, where usually Dre's, D-R-E, not D-R-A-I, but anyway. After they got a call saying loud shots were heard, police began conducting a search inside and outside the club for an active shooter. McMahill later said that there was no shooter and that the sound people heard was not a gunshot. McMahill said that as people ran from the club, an officer spotted Bennett crouched by some machines. He said that when the officer spotted Bennett, Bennett took off running out of the club, and officers pursued him before taking him down and putting him in cuffs. McMahill said that at the time, the officer explained the situation to Bennett, and that Bennett said he had no problem with how the police handled it except for having a gun pointed at his head. McMahill then showed a video of the police in a line searching the club. It was a chaotic scene with many people running. A video posted Wednesday by TMZ Sports shows a police officer putting handcuffs on a man who appears to be Bennett. At one point in the video, the man purported to be Bennett is heard yelling to the officer, "I wasn't doing nothing, man. I was here with my friends. They told us to get out. Everybody ran. Can you answer my question, sir?" When asked why Bennett had been singled out, McMahill said he did not know, but that he hoped the investigation would make that more clear. He encouraged anyone who has video of the events to make it available to the LVMPD. McMahill also asked that Bennett file a formal complaint. He said he learned about the incident the way most people did on social media. Bennett said he has retained John Burris, an Oakland-based civil rights attorney, to investigate the incident and determine his legal options. Burris released a statement Wednesday saying that Bennett was unarmed, sober, and not involved in any altercations or dispute at the time the police officers arrested and threatened to use deadly force against him. We think there was an unlawful detention and the use of excessive force with a gun put to his head, Burris told the Associated Press. He was just in the crowd. He doesn't drink or do drugs. He wasn't in a fight. He wasn't resisting. He did nothing more or less than anyone in the crowd. Burris said Bennett waited to make public his account of the incident until after Burris contacted Las Vegas police last week by letter and email seeking police records of Bennett's detention. Bennett, who's 31, said the incident is an example of the racial inequality that he is protesting by sitting for the national anthem. Bennett sat through the anthem for all 4 of the Seahawks preseason games this summer and has said he will continue doing so. I have always held a strong conviction that protesting or standing up for justice is just simply the right thing to do, Bennett wrote. This fact is unequivocally without question why before every game I sit during the national anthem. Because equality doesn't live in this country, and no matter how much money you make, what job title you have, or how much you give, when you are seen as a N-word, you will be treated that way. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell released a statement Wednesday saying that Bennett represents the best of the NFL, a leader on his team and in his community. Our foremost concern is the welfare of Michael and his family, Goodell said in his statement. While we understand the Las Vegas Police Department will address this later this evening, the issues Michael has been raising deserve serious attention from all of our leaders in every community. We will support Michael and all NFL players in promoting mutual respect between law enforcement and the communities they loyally serve and fair and equal treatment under the law. Bennett's brother, Green Bay Packers tight end Martellus Bennett, posted in an Instagram message to his brother that he is glad your voice is one of the ones being heard. I'm sad that you have to share this type of experience with the world, but at the same time, I'm happy that it happened to you and you live to talk about it because we all know you're going to talk about it, lots of laughs, Martellus Bennett wrote. The conversation is growing, and I'm glad your voice is one of the ones being heard. You are as real as they come, well, at least how they used to come. I encourage you to continue telling your story and the stories of those that came before. Michael Bennett has been a vocal advocate for former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, the first NFL player to publicly protest during the anthem last season. Kaepernick, who remains unsigned this season, tweeted his support of Bennett on Wednesday. This violation that happened against my brother Michael Bennett is disgusting and unjust, Kaepernick tweeted. I stand with Michael and I stand with the people. The Seahawks have not commented on the alleged incident. Seahawks center Justin Britt also tweeted his support of Bennett. I stand with you, Mike. Hashtag equality, twitter.com/Mosesbread72/S. And the rest I'm not going to read because I don't know what it is. Britt stood by Bennett's side with a supportive hand on his shoulder while the defensive end sat on the bench during the anthem before the Seahawks' last 3 preseason games. Britt began doing that after Bennett sat alone on the bench during the anthem before the preseason opener. Patrice Cullors, the co-founder of the Black Lives Matter Network, released a statement Wednesday offering the group's support to Bennett. Black Lives Matter has joined with Color of Change to start a petition asking the Las Vegas Police Department to release the names of the officers who allegedly assaulted Bennett in video of the incident. So, by the way, this was written by ESPN's Brady Henderson, and the Associated Press contributed to that report. Bunch of stuff going on. One, Bennett, it seems like he was doing nothing wrong. He probably wasn't. Two, here's a question, really. Kaepernick is still unsigned. He's sitting for the national anthem, but Bennett's employed. He's sitting for the national anthem. So then the question really becomes, is it really that they don't want to sign Kaepernick because he's sitting for the national anthem, or is it because he's just not good in the eyes of NFL football people?
I'll speak on the Kaepernick thing mainly. I think Colin Kaepernick, we talked a lot about what he was doing last year, about his stance and not standing for the national anthem. My feeling, I'm old school. I know a lot of people that we even work with, that I sit down with and I meet on a daily basis, that have served and protected our country. My grandfather served in the World War. I know people that, were in the Iraqi War. And I mean, the bottom line is, whether it's me, Andy Arbidon, Kevin or Fran McGrath, or Michael Bennett and Colin Kaepernick, we all are able to walk free every day because of the men and women that protect our rights and protect our freedom. And I don't have a problem with Michael Bennett or Colin Kaepernick doing something on their own if they don't like what's going on with the United States. Where I have a problem is using the NFL and using the Seattle Seahawks or the San Francisco 49ers as a platform to stand out and knowing that you're going to cause uproar because of the fact of the matter that you're trying to prove a point. I can't stand this kneeling for the national anthem. I think it's sick. I think it's despicable. And I think it's just a flavor of the. I really do. I mean, there's been problems, with police forever, and they came up with this idea. Let's really slap our men and women in armed forces that go every day and they fight on behalf of the fact that we have NFL football, that we as fans can turn on the game and watch every Sunday. And the last thing someone needs is, a guy to come back from risking his life and coming back to his family and his children and, getting away from everything and putting on the football game on Sunday and then have to see these idiots not standing for the national anthem. I'm always going to have a problem with no one can talk to me either way. I understand free speech is something that's important in the United States of America, and something that was founded by our forefathers when they created this country. But at the same time, you shouldn't be using the NFL. You shouldn't be using any NFL team, club, specifically to do that. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. And unfortunately, we have to talk about it. That's my feeling on one. Kaepernick, we all know how he came up. He took over Alex Smith's job. He came out of nowhere, and defenses really never knew what he was going to do, and that's why it took them to the Super Bowl, back-to-back NFC championships. But they also had a great defense with the Niners there. I think Kaepernick is definitely being blackballed. I see some of these guys, I've seen in the preseason. Quarterbacks that are nowhere near as good as Colin Kaepernick, but at the same time, it's a twofold. In order for Colin Kaepernick to be in an offense, you really have to change your whole style of offense. Now, he's a guy that's a run-first, draw option quarterback. He's not fun, he's not comfortable in the pocket. He's never have been, never will be that type of quarterback. But the idea is, if you're going to bring him in, and even as a backup, when he comes into the game, 10 of the guys are going to have to learn how to play with Colin Kaepernick. Not so much Colin Kaepernick has to learn how to play with 10 other guys. So I think there's a combination of what he's done in the past and, where his heart really is, I'm going to use this team to make statements and, that we're not being treated fairly by the police, and that's a story for a different day. All I can say is that I think I'm shocked. I'm shocked that we got through the entire preseason and he's not on a team right now. I was watching the Tampa Bay Bucks, their HBO series, Hard Knocks, and Kaepernick's better than a lot of people. I mean, it's sad, but you make your bed and you sleep in it. He made his bed. He wanted to, come out and speak out, and he thought more people would be for him, and it's turned against him, and it could have ended his career in the NFL. Michael Bennett, I don't know much about the situation. We're only hearing it from one side right now, but as far as that whole article goes, those are my feelings on the three different incidents.
Well, there's reports coming out now that Kaepernick, Ray Lewis was stating that. First of all, does he work for the Ravens in the front office? Because Ray Lewis, I didn't think so either, but Ray Lewis said we were very close to signing Kaepernick until his girlfriend posted racial tweets on her Twitter, and then they didn't.
Well, first of all, Ray Lewis has no business doing anything. This is a guy that got away with murder. Look, on the field, he's one of the best leaders, been one of the best linebackers, but he has no right to make judgment on anyone because he should be in jail. And people think he's this, this conqueror, and he's the best thing that's ever happened. And he wears his stupid suits. I hate Ray Lewis. I don't think Ray Lewis is a person that kids should see on TV and hear anything that he has to say, because this is a guy who murdered two people and got away with it, and he has the biggest mouth. And there's words I want to say about Ray Lewis that I can't. Ray Lewis has always has something to say. He always will have something to say. I'm glad ESPN fired him. That was one of the good things that ESPN did. I'm trying to look about what he's doing right now on the Wikipedia page, but whatever Ray Lewis says is I hate the guy, I can't stand him, and I don't care what he says or how he feels about anything because he got away with murder, and now he's flaunting in our face.
So the Rams, they're using player tracking to optimize availability. They have a progressive, collaborative approach, and their tracking technology has helped them make one of the NFL's healthiest teams. Now, if only that tracking technology could make them good. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think that anytime you can, anytime a club in the NFL can introduce something that can help players' safety, that's what it's about, correct?
Yeah.
The LA Rams, I mean, the bottom line with them is they have a quarterback who is, I consider, still a rookie, Goff. I don't think he's that good. I don't think the LA Rams have done enough in the past 2 years to be a viable option in the NFL, not so much the NFC West. The NFC West is a weak division right now, so you at least have one or two teams that come out of nowhere early on that start out 4-0, 5-1 that no one ever would think. But it is a 16-game season, and I don't think the Rams are going to be relevant at all this year. So, if they're creating something for the safety of a player, then that's great. But, it comes down to wins and losses, and I don't have any confidence that they're going to be there at the end of the year.
Now, this is a huge story right now. The Bucs-Dolphins game postponed to Week 11. They normally would have had an off week that week or bye week that week, but now they have to play 16 games in a row, weeks 2 through 17.
Well, it's unfortunate. I got that text. I was at work this morning. I got the text that the game had been canceled, and I'm thinking, oh God, my fantasy team, because I have a bunch of guys that play for both. Not a bunch of guys, but 2 or 3 guys on both my fantasy team that play for the Dolphins and the Bucs. So, look, it's not ideal. The NFL doesn't want to take the chance of losing revenue for their first game. They don't want to take the chance of possibly putting people in danger, whether it's fans or players. So, Mother Nature, anywhere we've learned about, Mother Nature down in the South, in Texas and Houston, and then as well as, the storms going through Florida right now. This is hurricane season, and, I think the NFL did the safe play by rescheduling it. I think it's for Week 11 now, and look, it's going to be tough, when these guys don't have a week off, for the entire year, so they play, 17 straight weeks or 16 straight weeks, it's going to be, it's good for the Patriots because, the Dolphins have to play so many games in a row, but overall, we're going to see this really impact. This is going to be a better conversation for week 10 through 14 to see where those two teams stand.
Bills Taylor cleared, expected to start Week 1. Bills quarterback Tyrod Taylor is out of the concussion protocol and is expected to start Week 1 versus the Jets. Coach Sean McDermott said.
I think the Bills had a lot of question marks at the end of last year, who their new head coach was going to be and what they were going to do with the quarterback situation. I think they realized that Tyrod Taylor is their best option. I think they really have been knocking on the door of a wild card spot. Even before Rex was there, and then I think their defense is a playoff defense, but their offense has been so inconsistent. And Tyrod Taylor is one of those inconsistent quarterbacks that you don't know whether he's going to be on top of his game. He can, that game he played against New England, he was everywhere when they came back when New England took that big lead, and then Buffalo came back, and, Tyrod Taylor looked like, the best thing since sliced bread. So I think the Bills are going to be right at the same thing. They're going to be, 8-8, 7-9. There's going to be a couple games that they're going to have to expect Tyrod Taylor to win. because that's what good teams do. A quarterback needs to win 3 or 4 games single-handedly for every team, and I don't know if he's at that point in his career to do that.
Reggie Ragland doesn't think his Chiefs debut is far off. Recent trade acquisition, Reggie Ragland, who is an ACL injury, won't play Thursday, but he expects to make his Chiefs debut, quote, in the next month or so.
Yeah, I think anytime you get a young guy with injury concern, especially early in the season, I think teams have learned. We've seen some guys in the past that have started off the season with a. I think what's a good example of that is I think Sean McCoy, was it last year or the year before, he had a groin issue, and it stayed with him the entire year because they tried to
last year
start him off early. And I think the best thing is every game counts the same, but they mean more later in the end of the season. And I think you're going to get more. You're going to get better value out of a player if you sit him for 2 games and let him play 14 and have him be injury prone for the whole year.
Tyrone Crawford anxious to play but wants practice rhythm first. Tyrone Crawford seems to be on schedule to start the Cowboys season opener, but wants to test his injured ankle in practice first.
Yeah, I don't know much about. Is he a rookie?
No idea.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, here's something that you might want. Well, not you, but other people. Bud Light is giving away 65,000 beer glasses to Patriots fans that light up every time the team scores a touchdown. Now, is that 65,000 per touchdown? Bud Light is giving away 65,000 beer glasses to Patriots fans that light up. So the beer glasses light up every time the team scores a touchdown. So yeah, it might be 65,000 per touchdown. So let's assume for a moment. Let's assume Brady throws for 30 touchdowns, and let's assume that the running backs, score 10
to 14.
Let's just say 10. Yeah. Let's play. That's 40, and then let's say there's 5 pick sixes or 5 defensive touchdowns or whatever. So that's 45 times 65,000. Well, easy math. 10 would be 650,000. So we're at 1.3 million for 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're at 2.6 million.
So they say for Patriot fans
to Patriots fans, yeah.
So
let's see. Let's take a look at this.
That's interesting because
Bud Light. Okay. Well, here we go. Bud Light will distribute 65,000 glasses to New England Patriots fans at Thursday night's NFL season opener against the Chiefs at Gillette Stadium. The glasses will light up for every Patriots touchdown throughout the season. That's unbelievable.
I got it.
The technology is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So every time they score, wherever
the glass is, to make the glass light up for each touchdown, fans will have to download an application on an Android or iPhone, pair the phone with the app, and ensure the phone is within 30 feet of their glass. For those who won't be able to get a glass at the game, Bud Light will sell 28,300 touchdown glasses for $18 each at budlight.com/touchdown.
Oh,
I'm going to go buy one.
Yeah.
Just to see it. Just to have it. The number is a tribute to the Patriots' 28-3 comeback in Super Bowl 51.
I like it. That's a good idea. I was trying to do the math there, but God bless marketing people because, that's an unbelievable marketing tactics. I mean, you know what's going to happen? Those things are going to sell out instantly.
Now.
And then they're going to, then they're going to charge $26 for the next one. And then we'll see how good they are as far as the technology goes, if they work or not like that. So. Well,
I'm going to see if we can. I'm going to see if we can order one here. I'm just telling you. All right, so let's see here. This is interesting. Rookies Carl Lawson and Jordan Willis give Bengals defensive line new life. An influx of young talent on the defensive line has given the Bengals the ability to display several new looks this season.
The Bengals, they are. I hate. My dad says he hates when I say they are who they are. It is what it is. The Cincinnati Bengals always have a plethora of talent. They always have they always can produce talent on both sides of the ball. The defense too. They've always had great defensive players, but it seems as though there's leadership issues on the Cincinnati Bengals on both sides of of the ball. They just when you think they're gonna go undefeated, they lose 3 in a row, or just when you think that they're gonna win a playoff game against Pittsburgh, 2 of their best guys make stupid.
I remember watching that game. There's some
Yeah.
girl was in my bed. I forget.
Yeah.
I think his name was Ashley or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, we're watching. She's a huge Steelers fan.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing. And I remember
But,
watching that game. Marvin Lewis wanted to kill himself.
And I still can't believe that he's. I guess he's going to be there for. I guess Cincinnati's okay with
Just making
the
the
playoffs and losing in the first round, because that's what Marvin can do. As far as these 2 young bucks, I like to before I start hyping anyone on that are new to a team, I like to watch them play and see how they can react in the first 4 to 6 weeks. So. I think Cincinnati's going to be there as long as they have Andy Dalton and AJ Green. They're going to be there, and they have as bad as much punks they are. They do have a good defense, so we'll see what happens.
Probe finds no evidence of Brady concussion. The NFL and NFLPA conducted a joint review of Tom Brady's games and medical and spotters reports and found the Patriots quarterback did not suffer concussion in 2016.
I think there's a lot of talk about nothing. I think it's, the last 2 years really were dominating the offseason for the Patriots about the Spygate and all this and all that and the suspension and
Deflategate, not Spygate.
That's what I meant, Deflategate. Yeah. I apologize. I don't, whether he had a concussion or not, even, he didn't have, it didn't affect him as far as I'm concerned. The guy's a football player. He's always going to play football. I think really Giselle started this whole thing.
Correct. I think she wanted to make it look like,
correct. So
even bigger than he needed to be.
Sure. And, the media ran with it. The media run with anything. So, as long as Tom stays upright, the Patriots have a shot, and hopefully he's playing for the next, 3 to 4 years. And I think you're going to expect big things from the Pats this year. With a lot of people don't know about Brandon Cooks, but they will know about him, soon. And I'm really excited about the guy. You told me the other day at work that they picked up a guy, and I'm like, oh, from the Colts. But
Dorsett.
He can move the chains. He can stretch the field. He's a guy that's going to be this a new incoming guy that like he's a straggler in any other team, but he's going to be. They're going to make him look like a star as well. So he's got to be so excited to get out of Indianapolis and go to a team.
A real team.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Speaking of real teams, McDermott says running back McCoy could play every snap of each game this season.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what his contract looks like. If he's on the latter years of his contract, then you might as well get the most out of your money out of him, knowing that you're never going to re-sign him. But once you're injured in the NFL, it's very, very difficult to never not be injured. And these guys don't take as good as care of their bodies as they should in the off season. The guys that do are the ones that don't get hurt during the season. Gronk, for example, is a bull in a china shop, and that's never going to change. But you have a guy like Brady who takes care of his football 24/7, and that's why he's played such a long career. And you got obviously the more contact positions, you're going to have a less of a life. But if you take care of your body, you should be you should get more years in the NFL. As far as LaShawn McCoy goes, I think Buffalo is going to need him to really get 18 to 25 touches, whether it's handoff or passes out of the backfield, for them to be to make Tyrod Taylor effective and to score points, because that's where the Bills are going to be hurting is scoring points.
So Keyshawn Johnson says Colin Kaepernick wouldn't have been cut if he didn't have an expiring contract last season. He'd still be on an NFL roster.
Well, Keyshawn Johnson, I mean, anytime you get advice from Keyshawn Johnson about anything, take it with a grain of salt. Keyshawn Johnson is a guy that's had a big mouth his whole life, and for some reason he went away for like 4 or 5 years, and now he's come back with wanting to talk more often. So I like, once again, I say about Kaepernick, the fact of the matter is whether they don't think he's a good quarterback or whether they're punishing him for doing his antics, no one wants him, and now people will go out in front of the media just so they can get their name out there and say, oh, I'm for Kaepernick and all this other garbage. But I think deep down inside, people are just talking about Kaepernick just so they can talk and people will listen to him.
This is interesting. So you talk about Philip Dorsett and what he thinks of the Pats. He's, quote, I'm invested in it. Even with his 4.3 speed, Philip Dorsett knows he has a lot of ground to make up as he gets acclimated to the Patriots playbook. Let's go delve into this. Let's see. They went through OTAs, they went through training camp, and I'm just getting here before the first game. Those guys had a head start, and I'm on the back end. You just have to be invested in it. I'm invested in it. He's off to a good start for his Patriots tenure based on his words. He came across as humble and willing to embrace an uphill climb. If they want him to play on the inside part of the field, he said he's up for that. If they want to keep him on the outside, he said he's on board with that plan too, noting he has, quote, played all over the place. As for returning punts, which is a key role with the club losing its top two of options, Julian Edelman and Cyrus Jones, season-ending injuries, Dorsett hinted that the Patriots haven't worked with him in that area just yet. If they asked me to do it, I would do it. I catch punts just to do it because it's fun. I did it a little bit at the Colts, but never really been a primary because I've been so much involved in the offense. The club will solely integrate Dorsett into the mix by making him part of one specific package, for example, the 4-receiver set. Then they will increase the workload as he shows an ability to handle it. He provides depth behind Chris Hogan, Brandon Cooks, Danny Amendola, and Malcolm Mitchell. He might not even be active for Thursday's opener. I never get frustrated with it because at the end of the day, it's football. It's all concepts. If you played football and understood playbooks, you just have to put things together. It's going to take time, and I know that. He wasn't surprised by the Colts trade. It wasn't disappointing. It was an experience, a good experience. I went there, had a good time there. Now I'm here and ready to learn as much as I can. I'm living out my dream. Honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of stuff happens you can't control. I go by the mindset of control what you can control. So,
well, he sounds like he's got the right attitude, and it's funny. Guys who are on a mediocre team, and once they get traded to the Patriots, and so it's like a new spark came into their life, and they have a whole new giddy up, and because they know that the Patriots is no nonsense. You're there to win, and you're there to play, and it doesn't matter, what's the name on the back of the jersey. Only the players that prepare and get ready for each game are going to be there. If they go and ask him to return punts, which is what I think will end up happening, or even return kickoffs. He's a guy that's dynamic with the ball in his hands and really has top-notch speed. I'm surprised they got him for cheap, where they give a 5th and a 7th rounder or something like that. But I'm excited about him. I think Patriot fans, once they get to see him, they're going to be excited about him as well.
Let's see here. Which teams can beat the Pats this season? It's a video. I can't really go into that. Mitchell Trubisky passes Mark Sanchez on Bears quarterback depth chart. Bears coach John Fox says Mitchell Trubisky, quote, earned that spot as the number 2 quarterback behind starter Mike Glennon.
Well, Mark Sanchez, we've talked enough about him over the last 3 years now. The guy, you got to give him credit, I guess, for just sticking around there and knowing that someone's still telling him he's a good quarterback. I don't know who that is, but Trubisky, that was the Bears traded everything in their mother just to trade up and get him, and we'll see what kind of player he is. Mike Glennon, I'm familiar with him. I watched him when he was at NC State, and then he went down to Tampa, was a backup down there. Mike Glennon is not the answer to Chicago. They're going to have a couple more down years. Glennon is, he's at his ceiling. He can, if he does everything to his best, he'd be a poor man's Matt Ryan. But he's very timid. He's not a tough guy. I'm sure he's a tough guy, but not when it puts the pads on. So I think Trubisky before the
Season's
end of the
over,
year,
sure.
he'll be there taking snaps for the
Sanchez
the
will be
Bears.
there doing nothing.
The Bears, yeah.
All right, so Chuck Pagano is confident that the Colts' new offensive line, his sixth in 6 years as head coach, can protect Scott Tolzien. Scott Tolzien is your opening.
Scott Tolzien. Who did they just? Someone signed there. Who signed there for?
What, the Colts?
Yeah.
No, Brissett got traded.
Brissett, Jacoby, that's
for
right.
Dorsett, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think they should play Brissett. Why not?
That'd be awesome,
Scott Tolzien is a run-of-the-mill guy. Here's an example of Colin Kaepernick is a lot better quarterback than Scott Tolzien. I don't care what anyone says, but 6 all different offensive lines in 6 years. No playoff or maybe one playoff win. Andrew Luck is hurt. You always have to put 2 and 2 together, and your offensive line is extremely valuable. And when a team's doing well, there's no complaints about the offensive line. So I think the offensive line and the defensive line, if you just want to look, football 101. If you have a good offensive line and good defensive line, you're going to win football games, and you're going to win more than you lose.
Yeah, Von Miller on San Diego, most talented Chargers team he's faced. He had high praise for them and Phillip Rivers.
Well, the Chargers, had a difficult, they got kicked out of San Diego. Technically, they're in LA now. Their fan base is terrible. The fans don't, care about the team. Phillip Rivers is still, when you look at his stats against a lot of other quarterbacks, over the last couple of years, he's got great numbers, and he's a gamer. He's a guy that's going to play, and he's going to try to win every time he's got the ball in his hands. Look, San Diego was a team last year that, how many times did they have the lead going in the fourth quarter? And they choked on the lead, 4 or 5 times. So if they have the talent there, they have a great quarterback. They have a quarterback that could actually win games in the playoffs and advance. So I think they just have to get there. And I think that AFC West, Denver is, I wouldn't be scared of Denver. I wouldn't be scared of Kansas City. I think Oakland, that's Oakland's division to lose. But what's his name? Carr's coming off the injury. I think San Diego is right there in the middle of the pack, and if they can hold on to games, then they could be there at the end of the year.
Dak Prescott adds captain's tag to his role with Cowboys. His teammates in the second year made him a captain.
I think that's I don't think anyone has any problems with that. I think he was quite a leader, and when he came in, some guys when they come in as rookies, they just have that aura about them. They're born leaders, and especially at the quarterback position, you have to be a leader, whether it's by vocal or whether it's by doing the right things. But he's a guy that people look to, and I think you can make a case for him or Ezekiel being, the best rookie on that team last year. Either way, you can't go wrong. I think Dak Prescott's going to be a solid quarterback, for his entire career, and I don't think Dallas is ever going to get rid of him. I think they were wise to select him when they did, and obviously everything happened with Tony Romo. But I think you can count on your hand, the top captains in the NFL, whether it's offensive, defensive side of the ball, and I would have no problem adding him to that list.
Titans cornerback LaShawn Sims uncertain to play against Raiders after tweaking groin.
Yeah, the groin early is, especially as a corner. You have to turn and run. You're making quick hitches. The groin is something that can be. If it goes the wrong way and you already have a groin issue, it's only going to get worse. If it's just if it's not as bad as people think it is, then maybe he'll play. But we'll see what happens.
Let's see here. apparently Jeremy Curley's excited to be back with the Jets. And the only thing I can take from that is he's excited just to still be in the NFL.
The Jets. I read an article on Twitter the other day that said the Jets could be the worst. This could be the worst
Statistical football team ever.
One of the worst teams of all time.
And what's his face? A poor jackass going to be on the sidelines, just looking like he's, I mean,
your buddy there.
Yeah.
2 steps away from
committing suicide.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Todd Bowles.
There you go. Yeah.
Todd
Yeah.
Yeah. I just can't believe they brought him back. I mean, the fact of the matter is there are better coaches out there that would go to that would love to go to whether it's the Jets or the Giants to coach in New York, and I guess they made a commitment to him, and we'll see what happens from there. There's a video of a father and son Alabama fans arrested after brawling at the Florida State game.
Bill Belichick appreciates everything about his friendship with Andy Reid. There's a mutual respect between Belichick and Reid.
I agree. I think those are two guys that, it's difficult to coach in the NFL at any position, never mind being a head coach, never mind, really being the two predominant coaches that, have been there. I mean, I don't know any of the coaches since 2000, late 90s to, through 2000, almost at 2020, and both these guys have been coaching every single year and have been successful. I'm not an Andy Reid fan. I think that he had a lot of opportunities with those Phillies teams, the Eagles teams, in the late 90s, early 2000s to get them a Super Bowl win. And, I don't think he made a lot of good decisions. I don't think, they did a lot to protect Donovan McNabb, and, that's why his career ended so early. And, but, Andy Reid is still a coach where if you have a team and you need a coaching hire, he's a guy that you can always count on, and I think Belichick has respect for that. And I think Belichick really respects the guys that have been there and that are still coaching in the NFL.
All right, so let's go to the scores. Pats open up at home against the Chiefs tomorrow, 8:30 on NBC. I'm excited for this game, most importantly because the banner will be raised. Hopefully they have some footage of that because they're doing something special. Apparently they did construction on Gillette Stadium, and it's supposed to be fans are going to be like in for a treat or something along those lines.
Yeah,
for the raising of the banner.
Trophy situation.
For the raising of the banner. Yeah. So anyway, Pats are 9-point favorites. Who do you have?
I have New England minus the 9. I think that this is a game. I was also reading an article. I'm watching this fight with the Alabama and the father and the son. It's pretty good. Check it out on Twitter. I think the New England still remembers that loss in 2014.
It was the year that they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. When they went to, and it was a Monday night game.
They were 2-2. That dropped them to 2-2.
And I still think that I'm sure, sure as can be, that they've talked about that game, and I think that game at the time was a blessing in disguise because it ended up working out. I think that game's always going to be something there. It's the first game of the coming off, an incredible Super Bowl win, something that no one has ever seen before. They're going to raise the flag, and but I still think it's important that they come out and they just and they come out firing and they get an early lead. I think that they're going to win the game, but I think that they definitely cover. And it's only 9. If it was up at 11, maybe that might be close. But since it's at 9, I'd take New England minus the points.
This is interesting. After getting at Nick Wagoner, who's an ESPN staff writer, listen to this. After getting asked about who might start at a certain position on Sunday for the third time, 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan made it clear he wasn't willing to give up such information, but he apologized for it in a humorous, if not entirely appropriate way. I quote, "I don't mean to be a dick," quote, Shanahan said as he quickly grabbed at the microphone with a sheepish look on his face. Quote, "That was bad. I'm showing my immaturity. After collecting himself, Shanahan explained further, quote, I'm not going to get into any exactly who's starting, especially like I said with the safeties. I've said it with the tight ends, Shanahan said. I'm pretty much going to say it with every position. Brian Hoyer's starting. I promise you guys that. Joe Staley's starting. Everyone else we'll find out on Sunday. It's the season now. If there's any gray area, we'll figure it out on Sunday. So I found that kind of funny. Jets and Bills. Jets on the road against Buffalo. Buffalo's 8.5-point favorites.
I just looked up. It says, are you going off ESPN?
Yeah.
Okay. I get the Jets at +9, but...
Jets +9?
Yeah.
All right, so if you had to do it at 8.5, what would you pick? Bills +8.5?
I'm going to take the Jets
+8.5. Really?
Both at 9 and +8.5.
Okay, I'm taking Buffalo minus the 8.5.
Okay.
All right, but anyway, go ahead.
Are you gonna get involved in the?
In the what?
You gonna do spreads this year?
Yeah, I'm doing. I always do spreads with you.
No, you don't.
Oh, I don't. I just pick winners.
Just pick winners.
Oh yeah, I'll do spreads. Sure.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take the Buffalo to win.
Sure, but we'll do that later.
Okay, but the Jets plus the 9.
All right, so Falcons going to Chicago, Atlanta on the road, favored by 7.
I think Atlanta has a lot to prove early and often. I think they're going to come out and they're going to really bring it to the Bears. I have Atlanta minus the points.
Yep, so same here. Ravens going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati at home, favored by 3.
I have Cincinnati minus the points. I think that Baltimore is an average team at best. I think Cincinnati, home field advantage. I think at worst you're going to get a push here with the -3, but I think Cincinnati will win by 4 to 6 points.
I'm taking Baltimore +3. Basically Baltimore won the game. Pittsburgh against Cleveland. Pittsburgh's going into Cleveland. Pittsburgh on the road, favored by 8.5.
Yeah, I have Pittsburgh -9. Either way, I'm taking Pittsburgh -9 or -8.5. I think they're going to want to get out of the gate early, and if Pittsburgh looks at their season, they really have to be 5-1, 4-2 in the AFC North there, and I think teams are going to have to beat up Cleveland because that should be 2 wins for everybody, and I think they'll beat them pretty handily.
Arizona's going to Detroit. Arizona on the road, favored by 2.
I've taken Detroit plus the points. Anytime early in the year when you have a home team that's the dog and it's 1 or 2 points, I always take the home team. So I'm going to take Detroit plus the points.
I agree with that. Jacksonville going into Houston. Houston at home, favored by 5.
I'm taking Houston. I have 5.5, but either way, I'm taking Houston minus the points. Blake Bortles is a disaster with Jacksonville. I think Houston can win this game easily. The only way Houston doesn't win the game is if they let Jacksonville stick around. But I think Houston's defense is good enough to limit Jacksonville to not as many points, and I think Houston's going to definitely cover the spread of 5.5.
I'm 5 on ESPN. I'm taking Jacksonville plus the 5.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I have a feeling. I mean, Tom Coughlin's there for a reason. Who knows what he's talked to with.
But he's nothing. He's
a leprechaun. So
yeah. Oakland
in Tennessee. Tennessee is at home. This is interesting. Tennessee at home, favored by 2.5.
I'm taking Oakland plus the 2.5.
Sure.
I just think Oakland's a better football team. Tennessee had a monumental collapse. Mariota got hurt at the end of the year. We'll see how he can rebound. But Oakland, what was their record on the road last year? Like 7-1 or 8-0. So I'm taking Oakland plus the points.
Philadelphia goes into Washington on the road. They're favored by 1.
Washington plus the points. I think it's going to be a battle, but I think that Washington, as we speak right now, is the better team. I don't think Philly, Wentz, he's a good player. I think Washington, this is Washington's year. I think Washington is actually going to win the NFC East, in my opinion. So I'm taking Washington plus 1.
Taking Philly minus 1. Colts and Rams, Indianapolis going into Los Angeles. The Rams are at home, favored by 3.5.
I'm taking the Colts plus 3.5.
With Scott Tolzien, huh?
Yeah, with Scott Tolzien, mainly because I think the Rams are terrible. I think this is going to be a 13-10 game. I think the Rams. I think the Colts.
Well, if it's a 13-10 game, the Rams cover.
No,
right?
they don't.
No,
if
Colts
they win
cover.
13-10.
Colts win
3.5.
Yeah.
So the Colts would cover the spread.
I'm fucking with you. I know.
You're not fucking with me.
No, I definitely was fucking with you. I want to see your reaction.
No,
Sure,
you weren't.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Good cover.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I'm taking the Colts plus the points just because the Rams are terrible.
All right, comment in the section below if you think I was covering. 4:25 game. Seahawks going into Green Bay. Green Bay at home, favored by 3.
I'm taking Seattle plus the points. I think these early battles that Seattle and Green Bay always have are close. They come down to the end. It seems like Seattle on the road. Whenever you give points to Seattle, no matter where they're going, they're always there. You know, Carroll and Russell Wilson and the defense. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Seattle. I don't know if they win, but they cover by 3.
Carolina at the 4:25 game. Carolina goes into San Fran. Carolina on the road, favored by 5.5.
I'm taking the Panthers minus the points. I think they win this game by a touchdown. I think they have a lot of proof to come out of the gate. I think Cam really wants to make up for the mediocre, what they call the Super Bowl hangover last year. I just don't think San Francisco is anywhere near where they need to be. I don't think they have the same home field advantage that they did when they were at the old Candlestick than they do with this new stadium. They were, I think, maybe 500 or one game under 5 or over 500 last year. And so I'm taking the Panthers minus a 5.5.
The Sunday night game is going to be awesome. Giants and Cowboys.
Yep.
Cowboys at home, favored by 4.
I'm taking the Giants plus the 4. Giants always play well at Dallas. And I just think that anytime you can give the New York Giants early, was it last year that the Dallas was up by, and then Giants came back and won, or was it vice versa? But Giants, I'm taking the Giants plus 4.
I think it was Giants came back and won. Saints and Vikings Monday night game. Nobody cares about. Minnesota on the at home is favored by 3.5.
Yeah, this is jump all over this one with New Orleans plus the points. I think Minnesota is one of the worst teams in football. So take Drew Brees and Adrian Peterson, his homecoming. I think New Orleans is going to beat them outright, but if the points are there, take the points.
And then the game that I actually prefer to watch, but it's so late at night that I'm not going to because I'm going to be asleep probably. Depressed. But San Diego goes into Denver. Denver at home, favored by 3.5. 10:20 start on the East Coast.
I'm taking Denver minus the points. I think it's a close game, but I think they pull away at the end.
With Trevor Siemian, not to be confused with Trevor Seaman. So, that is our Week 1 spreads. Let's go right on into the picks real quick. Rapid fire, Chiefs, Pats. Who do you have?
Chiefs. Pats.
Andy, Pat. We both have New England. Buccaneers, that's postponed. Jets, Bills.
Buffalo.
Okay. Atlanta, Chicago.
Chicago.
I'm taking Atlanta.
Atlanta. I'm
okay.
Sorry. I get 3 different things going on here.
All right. Baltimore, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Okay. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. That's easy.
Pittsburgh.
Sure. Cardinals, Lions.
Lions.
Yeah, me too. Jaguars, Texans.
Texans.
Taking Jacksonville. An upset Week 1. Oakland, Tennessee.
Oakland.
Okay. Eagles, Redskins.
Redskins.
Okay, I'm taking Philly. With the addition of Alshon Jeffrey and your boy, LeGarrette Blount.
Yep.
Okay. There you go. Colts, Rams.
Colts.
Okay. Seahawks, Packers.
Packers.
Okay, and then Panthers, 49ers, easy enough.
Carolina.
Sure. And then Giants, Cowboys.
I think the Giants are going to beat them.
Okay, I have Dallas. And Giants could easily beat them, though. Saints, Vikings. We both have New Orleans, I imagine. And then San Diego, Denver.
Denver.
I'm going to take San Diego.
Those are, I mean, the NFL usually does a good job on Monday Night Football Week 1. It's
horrible.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have gone in a lot of different other directions. Green Bay, Seattle would have been a good one, Or, I know Sunday Night Football holds on to those games like it's,
All right, let's go into our predictions for the season. We have the AFC East. What do you have?
The New England Patriots.
Yep, AFC North.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, correct.
You have both of those?
Yeah, I have both of those. South.
Houston.
Okay, I have Tennessee. You're going to pick Houston. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they throw Brissett in, Brissett. If Luck isn't healthy, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw Brissett in and they magically win the division with like a 9-7 record.
Who, Indianapolis?
Yeah, it could happen. Denver, AFC West. Who you got?
Oakland.
You have Oakland?
Yeah.
Okay, so do I. I just saw Denver, that's why I shouted it out. All right, National NFC, NFC East.
Washington.
All right, I have the Giants winning that division. You have Washington. North.
Packers.
Yep. South.
That's a tough one. It rotates every 4 years. Let's see, who's going to win? I think. I don't know. Is it the Bucks' time? I don't think so. I'm going to take. Carolina.
Okay, I picked Atlanta to repeat, and then the West.
The Seattle.
Correct.
Seahawks.
Yeah, that's what I'm picking also. Now, so we have our 4 division winners.
Yep.
Then we have the 2 wild cards, correct? So who do you have as a wild card in the AFC?
Wild card in the AFC. I have to look at what we got here. Standings. Let's see. Wild card in the. I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
And the Tennessee Titans.
All right, so I have Houston and Kansas City. Basically, we flip-flop the South Division winner as a wild card. In the NFC?
I would say the New York Giants and the...
There's two wild cards, right?
Atlanta Falcons.
There's 2 wild cards, correct? All right, you have the Giants and the Falcons. I have the Eagles and the Panthers as wild cards in the NFC. Now let's go to the playoffs. So the winner of the AFC, who do you have?
New England.
I'm going on the record. I'm picking New England also. I would not be surprised if it was Pittsburgh. And then the NFC, who do you have?
I hate picking. I hate picking the chalk. The favorites. I want to say Green Bay, but they just haven't been there. I'm gonna go on a limb and say the Washington Redskins.
That's ridiculous. All right, I have Green Bay.
Well, I can't wait to roll this one back.
So, listen, if it was, I know. If it was New England, Washington, New England beats them 57-10, okay?
How do you know that?
Look, if New England made it and they were facing Washington, there's no way they lose to the Redskins. And for the Washington Redskins to make it to the Super Bowl, everyone and their mother has to be injured, and Kirk Cousins has to play like Tom Brady times 2. And the Washington defense has to be there, which it's never been.
If you look at the NFC, okay, who scares you?
Green Bay, Atlanta still does. Look, with Julio Jones, even if Matt Ryan isn't as good as he was last year, if he's somewhat okay.
But the
defense,
the statistics
for repeating? Yeah, I know it's tough.
For the team that loses the Super Bowl has a bad year as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Carolina, I know, we can go back to recent memory, but I'm just telling you, I think Atlanta scares me still. Green Bay, still.
Sure.
The Giants, only because of their defense.
Sure.
Okay, and that's really it in the NFC. Maybe Seattle as an outside thing, maybe. But and with the if Bennett's healthy in Green Bay, it's going to be touchdown city all over that place. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching Week 1. Scratch Ticket Thursday will be here tomorrow. And comments, like I said, all those we've done before. The picks, you don't have to do spreads, just picks, because it'll get too complicated. Just picks, outright picks, have to be in before tomorrow night's game to be eligible for prizes. And what I'm going to do is if you end up beating Mclovein by the end of the season, you have to participate every single week. If you miss a week, you're disqualified. There is no exceptions this year. Nope. 0. Done. And don't cry, oh, you're a fag, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is, who's a fag who missed the deal? It's not my fault you missed it. It takes 5 seconds.
Correct.
Okay, this is Wednesday. You have fucking all day, all night tonight, plus all day tomorrow until 8:30. But anyway, the top 2 records, if they beat Mclovein, will just get a gift prize at the end of the year. That way, there's no mysteries. Nobody's missing shit. If you end up with a better record than if you end up with a better record than Mclovein, I'll just send everything out at the end of the year after the Super Bowl. I'll send everything out. That way, we can track how many people have won, how many times, and all that stuff, and there won't be any issues. All right, guys, thanks for watching.
The weekly winners, you still doing?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The weekly winners will be tallied at the end of the year, and I'll send everything out.
Oh, I get you.
Because people didn't get them, people did get them. I sent everything out. I've never screwed anybody in my life. I don't know what to tell you people, but that's how we're going to do it from here on in. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you guys next week.
Next week. See you guys.